Big up yourselves for coming on. Obviously, no stream yesterday, but we back to normal. We back to normal. So, guys, listen, man. English teams dominating over the last couple of days in the Champions League. You think of Arsenal beating Atletico Madrid 4-0. And again, we're going to go into a bit more depth into all the games. And as always, make sure you guys do smash the like button when you come through. And give me your take as well on what you thought of the Champions League games over the last couple of days. So yeah, Arsenal beating Atletico Madrid 4-0. And then you had Chelsea destroying 10-man Ajax. I think it was 6-1. City, obviously, just going on a mad run, winning 2-0 against Villarreal. And then you had Liverpool. Again, Liverpool losing 4 games in a row. It's not easy. But obviously getting back to winning ways, emphatically against Eintracht Frankfurt. And winning that game 5-1, I believe. And then you had Newcastle 3-0 against Benfica. And then the 0-0 draw between Monaco and Tottenham. So I think 19-2 to English teams over the last couple of days in the Champions League. And I mean, let me know what you think, guys. Do you think there's any English teams that can win the Champions League this season? I'm still gonna say the front runners for me are Barcelona and PSG. I think if any team beats them two teams, I think they're gonna go a long way to going far in this competition. Big up to Fitz, big up to Jude, big up to M&L Edits as well for coming through. So guys, yeah, let me know what you think of the Champions League games. We're gonna go through them in a bit. But as I said, 19-2 to English teams over the last 2 days in the Champions League. Let me know what you think. If you think there's gonna be a likely winner from any of those English teams in this season's Champions League. As I said, I think Barca and PSG will be the teams to beat. And I think if any team beats them in the latter stages, they'll go a long way to winning it. And I think you can't rule out Bayern Munich as well. Although I don't think Bayern will win it, but we can't rule out Bayern Munich. So yeah, they'll be there or thereabouts as well. I mean, starting off with the Arsenal game against Atletico Madrid, I think I was saying I could see that game ending a draw. I think if anything, I would have probably said Arsenal could nick it, but definitely thought that I didn't see that scoreline 4-0. And I think the biggest thing you can say is that once the first goal went in, I think Atletico Madrid, their heads kind of dropped, So I think when you go for so long and you're protecting like not getting a goal against you, and then when you do, it's one of them things, where it's easy for your head to drop, and I think that's what Atletico Madrid did. And to be fair, it's surprising under a Diego Simeone team, really. And again, Arsenal scoring from another set piece, a couple of goals, set piece goals. And I mean, how long can this keep going for? Because I do believe, if we're looking at the Premier League, then they're not winning no Premier League. Even though I don't think they're winning anything this season anyway, when it comes to the Champions League and the league table. Their one weapon at the moment is the set pieces, and as I said, I don't see it lasting for any longer, And again, it's not sustainable for me to keep doing that and be thinking you're going to win a Champions League or a league title. And I think the one thing I would say as well, I'm looking at the teams that Arsenal have played, where we're looking at, these teams, whether it's the league or Champions League, are going to be in the latter stages. I mean, at the moment, they haven't played no one in the Champions League that I believe are going to be there later on in the tournament. And then in the league, they've played Liverpool and Man City, two teams that, are going to be challenging for the title, and they haven't won either game. So, again, 4-0 result against Atletico Madrid, is a good result. But I think there's, as I said, there's tougher tests. I know there's a lot of people that will be getting carried away with Arsenal saying, they're going to be their favourites for the title and, Champions League, they're going to be one of the favourites in there as well. And I think that's just people doing too much because Arsenal have never won a Champions League before. And Man City, who a lot of teams are just not mentioning, they're a team that gets to the latter stages of the Champions League. And obviously they've won, I think, is it out of the last 6 league titles, I think they've got 4, I believe, or something like that. So again, the fact that no one's really talking about them is crazy. It is crazy. So yeah, listen, I definitely do think there is a long way to go, man. And I believe the likes of Arsenal, because I do expect Arsenal to get into the latter stages, no doubt. I do expect that because, they did the same thing last season and you'd expect that. Big up to Exedra. But I think if they meet a Barcelona, PSG, a Bayern Munich, I think if they meet any of them teams, maybe one of the English teams along the way, then I think they struggle, personally. I do think they struggle. But yeah, listen, man, I think definitely they can be happy with that result. And I know everyone's excited about Arsenal doing this and doing that. But as I said, man, there's a long, long, long way to go. Victor Gyökeres, listen, Victor Gyökeres has been poor. Like, there's no one that can tell me otherwise that he hasn't. I don't think Gyökeres has been anywhere good enough for me. But I think the 2 goals he got yesterday, and let's face it, they were 2 tap-ins. That could be good for his confidence. But listen, I've been told Victor Gyökeres is going to get 25 league goals this season. That's what people were telling me. So the fact that he's got 3 and he doesn't look like he's scoring anywhere anytime soon in the Premier League, I think people need to just adjust their expectations. I think the confidence might be slightly up after the 2 goals there, 2 tap-ins. But for me in the league's a different story because, he won't be getting that amount of time in the Premier League for sure. So, yeah, I definitely do think, man, there's a long way to go for Victor Gyökeres. But, yeah, listen, I think all Arsenal fans will be hoping he does get off the mark, but not for me, man, not for me. I definitely do think he's someone that I think once Kai Havertz is back, I'll be very interested to see what he does with Havertz because, as we know, Havertz is a favourite of Arteta, and I just believe that Havertz comes straight back into the team. I don't believe Gyökeres plays many games once he's back. Big up to all the mods. Big up, guys. There's 61 of you in there. Make sure we're smashing the like button. Make sure you're getting your comments in, and make sure you're sharing the channel and subbing to the channel if you're new in here as well. So yeah, listen, Arsenal 4-0. I think Atletico Madrid, they're one of them teams this season for me. I think they get through to the next round, but just like with many other teams, I think once they meet one of the favourites, I don't believe they've got enough to get over the line. I think you got Julian Alvarez, who's a top player, and obviously in attack, he's obviously the shining light for them. You got ex-Crystal Palace striker Alexander Sorloth, leading the line for them. Obviously, Griezmann's getting on a bit now, so Griezmann's playing more of an impact sub, but he's still got quality. But I just think when they meet some of the more favourable teams, I just don't think that Atletico Madrid are going to do anything. I think their energy is going to be more focused on the league, which, as we know, is going to be between Barca and Real Madrid. So they're more or less targeting 3rd place or a surprise run in the Champions League. I think that's the way they're going to go. But yeah, listen, Arsenal 4-0. Gyökeres getting 2. Gabriel getting another goal from a set piece from Declan Rice. And again, that is a weapon that Arsenal are using. But is it sustainable? Let me know, guys. Is it sustainable for Arsenal to keep on doing this? And then who got the other one? Martinelli with a great finish. Good run from Lewis Skelly. Again, Lewis Skelly was earmarked to be the long-term left back for Arsenal. Like a Ashley Cole kind of thing. And I think it's one of them things now for me that yeah, he's having to battle with Calafiori for a place in the team. So I think that run he went on, would have done him the world of good. And I think it's definitely a case now for Lewis Skelly. Can he kick on? Can he kick on? Guys, I'm gonna put a poll in there to let me know what you guys to let me know what you guys think. So I'm only gonna put I'm not gonna include another team because I don't think they're gonna be there or thereabouts. But let's see. Spare me 1 minute, guys. Let's see. So apologies to any Tottenham fans, but I've not included you guys in this because you can only put 4 teams, and I think these 4 teams are going to be the most likely. So let's see. So yeah, guys, make sure you're voting on this one. Oh, 1 minute. What's up with this? Right, let's see what you guys are saying. So, guys, make sure you're voting as well. So, who will get the furthest in the Champions League? Let me know what you think. Where's the E's missed off? Don't matter. So, guys, who do you think will get furthest in the Champions League? Make sure you're voting. So yeah, moving on. Man City obviously beating Villarreal 2-0. And I mean Erling Haaland, I mean, to be honest with you, I think Haaland is on course to doing better than what he did was it his first season where he scored. I can't remember how many goals he scored in his first season, but I think he's on course to go and do that again. I think the way he started, I think he started. What's he got? 11 goals in 8 games in the league, and I believe he's got for club and country this season. I think he's got 24 goals already, which is ridiculous. Again, if you guys have seen my stream from the other day, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. So who's had the biggest impact in football? Messi, obviously, if you didn't know already, but Messi got 91 goals in a calendar year, which is outrageous. So it's outrageous. So can Erling Haaland reach them numbers? The way he's going, it's looking likely, but I don't know, man, if he gets that number, because that is ridiculous. And Haaland is a monster. He is, man. I think he's the one striker that I would actually say, he's the one striker that you can afford to not get as many touches of the ball, because you just know that guy comes out with a game with at least a goal. And there's not many strikers in football ever that can get given that luxury. I think the fact that he scores an obscene amount of goals consistently, he's the one striker that you would say, do you know what? Don't worry about getting on the ball too much. Just do your damage, in the box. He's the one striker that I would say, out of all the years from me watching football, he's the one striker that I would say that's like, he's probably the one striker that gets away with it, because his general play, Erling Haaland, isn't that great. I mean, it's got better, but in terms of his goal scoring consistently, like, he can't be argued, you know what I mean? He's ridiculous, man, in that sense. So, yeah, he's the one striker that I would say gets away with that. Aesthetics 895 says, bro, it's Bayern Munich versus PSG. I'm so excited. So what, is that the next game for in the next Champions League round? Bayern versus PSG. I think that's going to be a good game, man. I mean, look at Harry Kane, for instance. Harry Kane's just on ridiculous numbers. I think Harry Kane for club and country, he's got 1 less than Erling Haaland. And then obviously Mbappe, I think, is there as well, but he hasn't got as many as those two. But yeah, listen, man, it's gonna be a mad season. I can just tell, man. I mean, you got the World Cup at the end of it as well. But I think a lot of players are gonna be trying to take this form going into the World Cup, man. So it's crazy. But yeah, Erling Haaland, man. Another goal. Great performance from Savinho as well. You know, I rate Savinho highly. And again, this was a Savinho that was meant to be going to Tottenham. And you think that, you know, City managed to hold on to him. Again, I was surprised that City were willing to let Savinho leave. You know, I think it was a case of they probably didn't want him to leave, but if he was angling for a move and Tottenham offered the kind of money that they wanted, then they probably would have let him go. But for me, he's a future starter for them. You know, I look at Ryan Cherky, I look at Savinho. I think in the attacking positions, I think those two there, they're certainties for me to be starting in the future. I do think both of them are good. You know, I think Bernardo Silva's actually leaving at the end of the season, so there'll be another slot opened up for an attacking midfielder. But I think in the future, Cherky in the 10 and Savinho from the right or the left, maybe, who knows, I think is where I can see both of them playing their trade in the team, man. But yeah, not a great assist for Bernardo Silva and a great header from Bernardo Silva as well. And I think Villarreal were unlucky. You know, there was a couple of attempts that Villarreal had. You know, Nicolas Pepe looked sharp, you know. But I think against Man City, with the form they're in, you know, I think they're one of them teams where they can just tick off games, man. And as I said, the fact that no one's talking about Man City for the title, it's always been about Liverpool and Arsenal. You know, I personally think it's disrespect because, you know, I said at the start of the season with the signings that City made, I made City favourites for the title. You know, I have to be honest, I did say, and I agree with Winston, man. Yeah, Man City will win the title. I agree. I've said that from the start. I did say that with Liverpool signing Isak to go with Ekatike, Florian Wirtz, and Kirkes, you know, I did say that I could see Liverpool retaining the title, you know, but part of me was still saying Man City. If you're thinking the fact that Pep's back with his wife now, you know, and the fact that they brought in Cherky, Reinders, and Ait Nouri, and all three of them for me are all starters in City's best team, or good enough as being starters. And then you think of the form that Haaland's in, they're going to take some stopping. And as I said, City are only 3 points off of Arsenal in first. And really and truly, they should have even beaten Arsenal at the Emirates. And they've still got to play Arsenal at the Etihad as well. If they win that game, they're sitting top at the moment. So this is what I'm trying to say to you, man. Like, this league is going to be up and down. It's going to be up and down. So, so yeah, another good result for City. And obviously they've got Brentford. Is it Brentford they've got in the next league? No, not Brentford. Who they got in the next league game? I can't remember. Guys, who's City got next league game? I can't remember who they're playing. But I just think that they're going to go from strength to strength, man. And, you know, they're the one team as well that you can rely on to be leading the way and confident that they can keep their position, you know. So, yeah, man, it's one of them things. Guys, make sure you're voting. So far we've got 11 votes and there's 56 of you in at the moment. So make sure we're voting. So what team do you think gets furthest in the... So who will get furthest in the Champions League? So we got Man City, 27%, Liverpool, 27%, Chelsea, 27%, and Arsenal, 18%. So very tight, man, between Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City. So, guys, yeah, make sure you're voting and let me know who you think gets furthest in this season's Champions League. Because I think I'm still going to say, as I said, Barcelona and PSG. Possibly Bayern Munich will be the team to beat. But who knows, man? We've seen weirder things happen in the Champions League. So, yeah, make sure you're voting and let us know what you think. Pep was playing back five at Emirates after goal until see chip pass over 10 players. Rodri was crying last season that Arsenal play haram. Yeah, big up, man. People don't talk about the Reinders deal. I agree. If you're thinking of midfield players in the world right now, you know, you look at players that were available for cheap. the fact that no one actually snapped up Reinders apart from Man City, or there was no other interest, doesn't really make sense because Reinders is one of the best midfielders in Europe. He is. You know, I'm not gonna say he's the best at the moment because for me, you know, Pedri, Frankie De Jong, Moises Caicedo, you know, obviously Gravenberch is out injured at the moment. Vitinha, I think those guys there for me at the moment are the ones that I'm looking at as the best at the moment. But I definitely do think that Reinders has the potential to, well, not even potential, because I think he's mid-20s now, Reinders. But he's definitely got, you know, he can definitely get better, man. And he can definitely get better, man, and be one of the best, no doubt, in this league. And Reinders is similar to Rice. I don't think he's similar because Declan Rice, for me, is more... I still see Declan Rice more as a, you know, someone that's a centre-back come centre midfielder. You know, I think Reinders is probably more box-to-box or more attacking than Declan Rice. But, I mean, a lot of people will probably say Rice is better than Reinders, which is not. You know, this is the thing. You know, I think Reinders, for me, is a very good player. You know, he's a top player. You know, I think if you look at what Reinders offers, you know, press resistant, you know, he can pass. I mean, he can run back and forwards all day. So, yeah, man, I like Reinders a lot, man. I think he's a very good player. And the fact that there was no other teams apart from Man City. And what was good as well is that Man City actually needed him. Because if you look at Rodri in midfield, obviously he's been injury prone. Then the players they play there, I mean, Gundogan's now gone, top player he was. Then you're looking at Kovacic, who's picking up a few injuries. Who else was there? And other players that had left or that played there at times. They needed someone that had energy like Reinders. So Reinders was a very good signing. Very good signing. Italy have some gems. Nico Barella, Fede De Marco, Denzel Dumfries, Lautaro Martinez, Alessandro Bastoni, and Nico Paz. Yeah, Nico Paz from Como. Again, I mean, when it comes to the World Cup, I don't think Italy do anything. You know, Italy are one of them teams that when it does come to the World Cup, you know, they're always one of them teams that are a tournament team. But I think the players they've got, and that's Inter Milan, should I say. Italy have some gems. Oh, players in the league, you're saying? My bad. Because when I see Dumfries and Lautaro, obviously Dumfries is Dutch and Lautaro's Argentinian, and Nico Paz is Spanish. So, yeah. I think he meant Inter Milan have some gems. Winston, they do. Big up to Mike. Big up Mike for coming through. So, do you also like Bayern since there's Harry Kane? Yeah, listen, man. Harry Kane's a top player, man. Like, the one blemish I've got against Harry Kane is the fact that, you know, when it comes to playing against the best teams in Champions League or in the World Cup or the Euros, when Harry Kane needs to step up, you know, I've seen too many times Harry Kane doesn't deliver in that sense. But in terms of his goal scoring, in terms of his consistency and his ability, like, Harry Kane can't be argued, man. The guy is just consistent, Mr. Consistent he is. And as I said, man, he's a great footballer. That's first and foremost. I think if we're putting goals to the side, yeah, Harry Kane as a footballer and his intelligence is what makes him Harry Kane. I look at the goals and the assists as a bonus. But as a footballer, the guy's a top player, man. No one can deny Harry Kane's not a top player. So with him in the team, Bayern have always got a chance. And then you've got the likes of Elise, top player. Musiala's out injured. Luis Diaz is there. You know, they've got the basis of a very good team. Joshua Kimmich. You know, you've got Upamecano, Neuer's experience as well. Alphonso Davies is out injured. So, yeah, they got a basis of a very, very good team. So, yeah, I just think it's one of them things for me that, yeah, they'll be there or thereabouts, 100%. 100%. But, yeah, let's move on. So, Chelsea obviously beating Ajax 6-1. Obviously, Ajax were down to 10 men very early on. Kenneth Taylor from Ajax, the captain, getting sent off. And to be fair, it was definitely a sending off. You know, the foul that he made on Buonanotte, you know, I mean, that's a kind of challenge, yeah, that could break an ankle. So, yeah, I think definitely that was a sending off. And what I would say is Chelsea as well, yeah. I don't believe Chelsea win the Premier League. I don't, yeah. But I think people need to watch out for Chelsea. And I'm not saying it because of this Champions League game, because again, I don't believe they'll make I don't believe they'll win the Champions League. I think they'll get through this next round, and it depends who they meet. As I said, if they can avoid a Barcelona, PSG, Bayern Munich, those sort of teams, and just end up getting some of the less favourable teams, I think Chelsea could go quite far. But those teams at the moment, if they do meet them, I don't see them beating them. But I think in the league, people need to watch out for Chelsea, because where are Chelsea now in the league? I'm not too sure, but they're going about their business quietly. You know, the game against Nottingham Forest, I mean, I didn't see the game, but I heard that Nottingham Forest really should have won the game in the first half. But then Chelsea ran out 3-0 winners. So you can say they rode their luck and took their chances. But I think Chelsea are one of them teams that people shouldn't be sleeping on. Because I definitely do think, you know, they're going to surprise a lot of teams. You know, because I think if I see the table right, last I see, I think they're only something like 5 points off the top or something like that. I could be wrong. Again, if anyone knows how far Chelsea are off, let us know in the chat. But I think they're only 5 points off the top. So, again, man, I don't think people should be sleeping on Chelsea, because they're one of them teams for me that they could go under the radar and start picking up some wins. Let's check this poll. So, guys, make sure you're voting. There's 71 of you in there watching. Make sure we're voting on the poll. So 20% Man City, 25%, sorry, Arsenal, 19% Chelsea, and Liverpool 31%. So majority of you at the moment think Liverpool will get furthest in the Champions League. Is that because of the result yesterday? That's what I want to know. So, but yeah, listen, man, I think for me, I'm going to say Man City. I think Man City get the furthest. You know, but a lot of this could depend on what happens in the league. Because I believe if a lot of these teams are, you know, in the driving seat for the title, you know, they could put all their eggs in the title. And I think someone like Arsenal, this is what it's going to come down to. Arsenal are going to have to make a decision whether they go for the Champions League or try and go for the league. So I think after Christmas, you're probably going to see where a lot of these teams are at for me. And, but yeah, I'm going to say Man City will get the furthest. But I think any four of those teams, providing they avoid the favourites, I think could get there. Who knows, you know? But yeah, Chelsea winning 6-1. You know, Esteval getting a penalty, great penalty as well. Who else scored for them? Mark Gu, obviously ex-Barcelona. You know, got the first goal, a tap in, great ball across from was it Euro Hato? I think played the ball to him. Was it Hato that played it to him? Who else scored? I can't remember who scored for Chelsea now. Oh, Moises Caicedo, a deflected goal. And again, top player Caicedo, man. One of the best players in the world right now, no doubt. Who else scored for Chelsea? I can't remember who else scored for them. But 6-1 against Ajax. And again, I think once they went down to 10 men, Ajax, you could kind of see that happening anyway. Because Chelsea at home as well, you know, with their crowd behind them. Yeah, it was a formality, really. It was a formality. So Rice is box to box. Arteta has played him there since he realised he lacks the intelligence to play CDM. Yeah, listen, Rice is a box to box midfielder now, but let's not forget Declan Rice come through as a centre back. So centre back then to CDM, and the reason that Arteta changed him to a box to box is because in Arteta's system you need someone that is one press resistant and someone that can drop in between the lines and play. You know, and that isn't Declan Rice's game, which is why he bought Zubamendi to play that role. You know, because if you look at, obviously, Arteta coming from Man City, he would know the importance of having a player in that position, which is why for years, obviously, he saw the likes of Rodri there, you know, even Fernandinho there as well from before. So again, Declan Rice isn't that type of player that can dictate the tempo of a game. I think with Declan Rice is someone that just keeps the ball ticking over. You know, he's high energy, and him playing as a box-to-box midfielder suits his attributes. But in terms of a player that's gonna pick the ball up from the defense and start, dictating the tempo, playing the little cute balls through the gaps into the number 10. That isn't Declan Rice's game. So yeah, obviously now he's more of a box to box, but I still see Declan Rice as a centre back come midfielder. But obviously for Arsenal now he's playing more box to box. So Kimmich and Pavlovic in midfield is sweet. Yeah, listen, I think as a combination it's decent. Both German as well, but whether that's going to be enough to take them all the way in the Champions League, I don't think it will be. I think if you're looking at PSG's midfield, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, João Neves, that's a very good combination there. Probably the best three at the moment, you would say. And then you got Pedri, De Jong, midfield two. So yeah, listen, I think Pavlovic is potentially a good player, but whether him and Kimmich can be the midfield two to take Bayern to a Champions League, I don't think so. I don't think so. But again, it's all there to see, man. Yeah, listen, I do think Bayern Munich are gonna do something this season. I think the league title's already wrapped up for them. The Bundesliga's already wrapped up, so they can literally place all their eggs really in the Champions League, because I don't think they're going to need to do too much to win that Bundesliga title. I think they've got the best players in the league. They're ahead. They've won every game so far. So I think the Champions League is where Bayern Munich are going to be focusing on. I definitely do think that, and I think the fact that Harry Kane's in the form, I don't think Harry Kane's been in better form in his career. What's he got? I think he's scored in every game this season, I believe. I could be wrong, but yeah, I definitely do think Harry Kane, man's going to spearhead that attack. And then someone in Michael Elise, they've got, for me, when I look at left-footed right wingers, I think the best two right now for me are Yamal and Elise. I think Yamal and Elise are the standout two for me. And when you've got a front three of Harry Kane, Elise, Luis Diaz, and then you've got Nicholas Jackson, who can provide a different threat from the bench. And this is a team that's missing Jamal Musiala as well, who would be playing at 10. They're going to be dangerous. They will be. And who knows? I'm not sure how long Musiala's out for, but Musiala could be, the missing piece later on in the Champions League in the latter stages. So, again, man, it's one of them things, man. It's definitely one of them things to see. But yeah, listen, I think 6-1 Chelsea against, going back to Chelsea at Ajax, good result. And I think their next game's Barcelona. So, listen, Chelsea are going to have a real test at home against Barcelona. So we're going to see what Chelsea are really on, because, again, Barca, for me, are one of the favourites for this tournament. Last season, it should have been a Barca PSG final, but Barca let that game go against Inter Milan. So, yeah, I definitely do think it's going to be that, man. That I think those two, Barca and PSG, already played each other, but I can see them two meeting each other again in the latter stages. Definitely, Moving on, Liverpool obviously beating Eintracht Frankfurt 5-1. And I think the key talking point there was Mo Salah on the bench. And the thing is, for me, it's not really a talking point, because Mo Salah has been poor for a while, and it wasn't even just this season. Last season, I think a lot of people looked at Salah as, he's dominated it in terms of goals and assists. But I watched quite a few Liverpool games last season, and to be honest with you, Mo Salah didn't really play great. It's just that Salah was getting numbers like he always does. And the one thing that can't be levelled against Mo Salah is that consistently the guy, he does put up numbers. But in terms of his actual ability, in terms of his general play, he's never really been that great, and you're now seeing it. The fact that he's a year older, the fact that he's losing his legs. And guys, remember what I said, yeah? Any of you guys that have been watching this channel for any amount of time, I said Liverpool are missing the trick by not playing three at the back. And purely for the reason because them playing three at the back is going to help Mo Salah. Because if you think of them losing Trent and losing Trent's ability to play balls to Salah, where Salah's most dangerous in the final third, then bringing in Jeremy Frimpong. As we know, Jeremy Frimpong is a wing back. So if you wanna, if Arne Slot wanted to get more from Salah on that right hand side, all he needed to do was go three at the back, use Frimpong as Mo Salah's legs, and then let Salah play more infield and play closer to the goal. And that would have probably prolonged him getting more numbers as well. Because Jeremy Frimpong, as we know, has got ridiculous pace. So if you're bringing in Frimpong in, play him as the wing back and allow Mo Salah to play more infield, which would have got Mo Salah more numbers. You know, I said this at the start of the summer when Frimpong was signed. Not to mention Kirkes has the athleticism to go up and down and play as a left wing back. And the fact that Slot never changed that, because if you're thinking of Van Dijk as well, Van Dijk's a year older. And imagine having a Kanate one side and then having, you know, a left-sided centre-back. This is why I said Castello Lukeba. You know, start of the summer, I said if Liverpool get Lukeba and go to a three at the back with what they've already signed, you know, they're going to be dangerous. Because if you've got Lukeba and Kanate either side of Van Dijk, you've got pace, you've got physicality, and you've got natural-footed players on that side as well. You've got Van Dijk, the captain and the leader that can organise. Then you've got the midfield two in Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, whoever you want to play in there. Then you've got Kirkes and Frimpong as the wing-backs. And then you could have played Florian Wirtz as a left 10 to roam around. And then I know Salah's not a 10, but Salah's career would have been prolonged for me. And I think his form would have been better if he was playing more infield. You know, and then obviously you got Ekatike or Isak as the strikers. So I'm surprised, you know, Slot hasn't even tried that. But again, Mo Salah not starting against Eintracht Frankfurt. I'm not even sure if Salah even come on. I didn't see the game. But Ekatike, for me, is just showing why he needs to start every game now. You know, I think the sign of Isak wasn't needed. You know, when you're thinking of what Ekatike was doing, I know how badly that Liverpool wanted Isak, but sometimes you got to just realise, you know, it's, yeah, sometimes you ain't really got to, yeah, I mean, they'd have been better off just going for another player or another defender rather than getting Isak, because now it's a situation where Isak is the highest transfer fee in the Premier League and Ekatike has to start. So, which means if you're going to play both of them, Mo Salah has to give way because Gakpo's playing well and he's scoring goals. And then your highest earner now is sitting on the bench. But it could be a thing where, you know, Slot is telling Salah, your place ain't guaranteed. Show me what you've got, you know, off the bench. But look at Chiesa. Chiesa should be getting more game time as well. So it's mad. But yeah, listen, Liverpool went up 5-1. Obviously, they went 1-0 down. Obviously, Ekatike scored. Gakpo got another goal. Szoboszlai scored. Florian Wirtz with 2 assists, you know. And again, Florian Wirtz, man, I'm a massive fan of. So I do believe Wirtz will come good. I have no doubt that Florian Wirtz is going to come good. Because, as I said, man, I think with Florian Wirtz, it's going to take time for him to adjust to the Premier League. But I've seen Florian Wirtz when he first come on the scene, you know, when he was wearing number 27 for Bayer Leverkusen, you know, and I see his whole career. And that's why I was saying, you know, this is a guy that should really be playing for Barcelona with the kind of player that he is. But him coming to Liverpool, yeah, again, in terms of performances, he hasn't been great. But I have no doubt once Liverpool start getting back onto form, you know, Wirtz is going to prove his worth. You know, he's one of my favourite players. And again, I'm a Man United fan. And the fact that I'm saying Wirtz will come good, you know, a lot of people might not understand why I'm saying that. But again, I'm a lover of football, you know, not just a Man United fan. I'm a lover of football. And I do believe Florian Wirtz, you know, is... Do I think Wirtz is going to justify the price tag? I mean, how? How will he justify the price tag? Because is Florian Wirtz going to get 30 goals and 30 assists? He's not. But what he is going to do, I believe when it comes to the crucial games, he's going to provide that moments of brilliance that will get Liverpool over the line, whether it's Champions League or the league. So, yeah, I've got faith in Wirtz, man. I think he's a top player. He's one of the best players in the world for me. I think on current form, we can't say that, but I definitely do think Wirtz is going to be he's going to be all right, man. 100%. Guys, come on, there's 23 votes, I think. So, City, 22%. Liverpool 35. So the majority of you are saying Liverpool will still get the furthest in the Champions League. And a lot of you think that Chelsea will be the team out of the four that won't. Interesting. Let's go through some of the comments. Arsenal Prem. Nope, I don't see that. Anyone think United have had a really tough Prem start? Not for me. Not for me. If we're looking at United's, they played 8 games, and 2 of those teams are newly promoted teams. And then the other teams are City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. I mean, eventually you got to play them teams anyway. But the fact that you've got the fact that you've got newly promoted teams, and you've got teams in there that a lot of people were saying will be near the bottom, I don't think we can really say that, if I'm honest. But yeah, listen, man, I think Man United find themselves, 9th? Obviously Brighton at home on Saturday, 5:30 kickoff. Listen, man, we're gonna see, because I think everyone's excited. Amrin's won back-to-back games for the first time in his Man United career. But if Man United don't beat Brighton, it's gonna be all for nothing. So yeah, man, we'll see. Guys, come on, let's smash them likes up. We've only got 8 likes. Let's smash the likes up. So, do you watch Baller League? I've seen it a couple of times. I don't really watch it religiously, but I've seen it a couple of times. Gav, who do you think wins the league? Yeah, listen, I've said it, man. Man City. Man City win it for me. I said Man City from the very start, Part of me was pivoting towards Liverpool because of Liverpool's signings. But I always said, Man City, I can just see Pep doing the madness. And again, City didn't really start too well. But I just think, Pep is primed to do something this season. Because last season was in Pep's, by Pep's standards, was unacceptable. So this season, they're gonna win either the league or Champions League. 100% think that. I think the way that Erling Haaland started as well, he's due to be getting in all comps 50 goals, maybe even more. So and again, the players they've brought in, they're real quality. And if you think of the likes of Marmoush is more experienced now in the league. Obviously, now he's been injured. Cherky's coming through. Savino's more experienced now after the first season. Then you look at Foden's got a point to prove. Doku looks like he's got better. Oscar Bobbs came back from injury. Reinder's obviously new signing. The one thing is keeping Rodri fit. But I think what everyone's sleeping on is Gianluigi Donnarumma. Donnarumma is going to be one of the main reasons. If you look at either end of the pitch, you've got Donnarumma in goal and you've got Haaland as a striker, yeah? Those 2 players there, they're going to be crucial in City retaining the title. Because since Donnarumma's come in, Donnarumma has almost made Man City impossible to breach. Because physically and in terms of his command in the box, like he's probably the best in the world in terms of command of the area. Like he's the guy's an absolute monster in goal. And this is the guy that made his debut for AC Milan when he was like 15 or 16. So the guy was always going to be one of the best. And I think, he's mid-20s now, I believe. Like, the guy's just been playing for like 10 years, you know what I mean? Like, he looks like he's been around forever. But as I said, man, he's going to be one of the major reasons why City win this league. Because bringing him in, was a masterstroke. It was. Because you can see that Edison was coming to the end. you know, and obviously Edison had a great time at Man City and was pivotal for them in goal. James Trafford coming back as well, but Trafford's more of a when Donnarumma comes in, you've just got to bide your time and be backup. But Donnarumma coming in, yeah, it's going to be a masterstroke for Donnarumma for Man City to go on and win this league, man. I definitely do think that. So yeah, Man City for me. Yeah, Salah is an output player. He is. 100% he is. He is. Like, no one can deny that. There's a lot of players like that are output. Because if you're watching the game, you know, you wouldn't be saying that Mo Salah is a great player. You know, I refuse to agree to that. You know, I had people telling me that Mo Salah was a better player than Eden Hazard. Like, this is how people see football. Because people look at numbers and output as a way of proving an argument against the player. But there's no way that Mo Salah is a better footballer than Eden Hazard. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. If we're looking at numbers, then he's got better numbers than Hazard. 100%. But as a player, nowhere near Hazard. Nowhere near it. So I believe Salah will be sold in January. Nah, he's not going to go January. There's too much at stake. You don't give a guy a new contract and then say, look, we're going to let you go in January. That ain't going to happen. Salah's going to be there for the season, but I believe there'll be question marks about him staying, depending on what happens with Liverpool this season. 100%. Guys, come on, make sure we're smashing the like button. Smash the like button, guys. And make sure you're voting as well. Let's see what you guys think. We've got 27 votes and all 30% for City, Liverpool and Arsenal to get the furthest in the Champions League. So numbers and output count towards how good you are. Hazard was weak-minded. Give me Salah or Sanchez any day of the week. I disagree. I massively disagree. Numbers and output don't count to how good you are. That's a complete lie. Numbers and output, it's about the system. If you've got a thriving system, yeah, that gets the best out of your players, then naturally you will get numbers. So to say that you're judging someone on how good they are by why they get numbers, it tells you why they're not good, really. Numbers should be used as a bonus because there's no one that can tell me that Bruno Fernandes is a top player because he gets numbers. He's not. Just watch him play. Do you know what I mean? So I disagree with that. Numbers and output count towards how good you are. Because the reason why that's not true, because Salah's not getting numbers now, and look how poor he's playing. So again, that don't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, Zidane, Iniesta, these guys never scored obscene amount of goals. But there's no one in this chat right now, and which is 32 of you, that can tell me that Bruno Fernandes, for example, is better than Iniesta or Zidane. So that argument makes no sense. That makes no sense. Go and have a look at Zidane and Iniesta's record. These guys weren't putting up numbers, but no one cared because we just knew watching them how good they were. Bruno Fernandes gets more numbers than them. So are we saying Bruno's better than Zidane and Iniesta? Don't make any sense. You know, look at Mo Salah. Mo Salah gets more numbers than Arjen Robben. Are you going to tell me Arjen Robben? You're going to tell me that Salah's better than Arjen Robben? Because Mo Salah's nowhere near Arjen Robben. If anyone watched Robben's career, Robben was one of the best players in the world, but people weren't really talking about Robben being one of the best because the era that Robben was playing in, there were so many good other players. But there's no one that can tell me that Salah is a better player than Robben because he's not. You know, he gets more numbers, but he ain't better than him. So Yeah, that's not true, man. That's not true. Yeah, it's not true. It's not true, Winston, man. You've lost your mind there, Winston. So Salah has high output, but is not a good player. Yamal has low output, but is very. Well, there you go. There you good. There you go. Big up to Mike, like because these things are not really hard to understand. You can big up someone's output, yeah, but when you start saying that their output means that they're a good player, that ain't true. It's not true. Because at the end of the day, if you're in a system, yeah, that provides for your for that player, that just means that it's a functioning system which allows them to get goals. Look at. I'll give you an example. Yeah, look at Erling Haaland. Yeah, Erling Haaland is in a team at Man City where he's got creators all around him. If you look at when he had obviously De Bruyne, when De Bruyne was there, Jack Grealish, Savinho, Foden, um, who else was there? Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. Those guys are all creators. And then you've got the one serial goal scorer. So this is how systems work. You know, if Erling Haaland was playing in a team where there was wide forwards that were just goal hungry, Haaland wouldn't get as many goals as he would now. So it's about systems. Um, even though Haaland does score goals, yeah, and he's a born goal scorer. You know, the system at Man City works for him to get the goals because his creators all around him, and that's just how it works. You know, that's just how it works. But um, a lot of it is the system. You know, Salah, the system at Liverpool. You know, Liverpool create a lot of chances. Not to mention Salah's a penalty taker as well, and he's always in positions to score. But that's the system. As you can see now, Arne Slot, yeah, Arne Slot really is starting to, because even last season when Liverpool won the league, he didn't really change too much. You can tell, but this season he's trying to change things. You know, he's trying to change the fullbacks at times. You know, he's brought in newer players, but and as you can see, Salah's declined in terms of his pace, and he's not getting as many goals as he was once getting. That's because the system really is starting to change, and it's not really getting the best out of Salah. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's how it works. It's not a case of someone just scoring bare goals and they're just doing that by chance. It's the system. So if you've got a functioning system, you shouldn't really be surprised if your striker or your wide forward is getting numbers. It's the system. So that's how it works. Whoever said Bruno was better than Zidane, I didn't say you said Bruno's better than Zidane, but what I'm trying to explain to you, Winston, yeah, is that when people say that, as you said earlier, numbers dictate to how good numbers show how good you are, or whatever you said, yeah, which ain't true because Zidane never got the numbers that Bruno was getting. Iniesta never got the numbers that Bruno was getting. So it's a comparison because when you're talking about Bruno getting when you're talking about Bruno has to play in the 10 and numbers count to how good you are. I'm just giving you a comparison to show you that Zidane and Iniesta never got numbers. But you're not going to tell me that Bruno's better than either one of them because he's not. So, Robin took it easy in Germany, farming in an easy league. Yeah. Robin was cooking in the Champions League too. Real Madrid or Barcelona, bro? Barcelona every day of the week, man. Barca's my other team, man, so I'm not going to go against them. But funny enough, actually, I used to be Real Madrid when I had R9. When R9 was there, when Zidane was there, I was Real Madrid. But then as soon as Ronaldinho started doing his madness, you know, Rivaldo and that was there before, Javier Saviola, etc. Yeah, Barca was my team from then, man. Put it this way, Ronaldinho and Messi, for me, is what changed my thing on Barca Real Madrid because I used to follow Real Madrid more because as I said, R9, one of my favorite ever players, was there, the real Ronaldo. And then when I see Barca, when I saw Barca playing Real Madrid and Ronaldinho got that standing ovation, that's when I had to just start watching Barca a lot more. But again, I watched Barca from before that because I watched them when they had Rivaldo, Patrick Kluivert, Javier Saviola, Philip Cocu. You know, there was loads of players. But then my love for Barca was when Ronaldinho was doing the Mazza out there. And obviously Messi carried it on. And then obviously Neymar come there, you know. They've got some top players. And now you've got Yamal, Pedri. You know, they're keeping it there, man, for Barca. So, yeah, man. Yeah, listen, Haaland was already banging goals. He was, man. He was. As I'm trying to say to you, Haaland's a serial goal scorer. Um, yeah, Haaland was a serial goal scorer. But again, people need to not look past the system. Systems are a thing, you know, because I guarantee you now, if Erling Haaland was playing for if he was playing for, let's say, I don't know, let's say Haaland was playing for a Nottingham Forest, for argument's sake. Do you think Haaland gets the obscene amount of goals that he gets now for City? Because he doesn't. The system. It's about the system, you know. When you've got creators all around and you're the serial goal scorer, you should really be scoring a lot of goals. And you look at the physicality of Erling Haaland as well. The physicality is what gets him a lot of his goals. But he's in a system, a dominant team, that create for him. He's the one goal scorer in that team. So, not to mention, he does score an obscene amount of goals as well. But again, it's a system. The system, wherever Haaland is, the system is, sometimes you get players that are the system. And Haaland technically is that. You know, I believe players that are, you know, just the gifted players, like your Messis, like your Neymars, the Ronaldinhos, the Zidanes, these guys are the system. But in Erling Haaland's case, he's not as technically gifted as those players. But because of his physicality and the obscene amount of numbers that he gets, he technically is the system when it comes to Man City, when he was at Dortmund, when it comes to Norway. So that's how it is, guys. Gavi says, as soon as the bag was secured, Salah declined. Well, listen, this is why hindsight is a massive thing, because at Liverpool, they should have seen the bigger picture, thinking we're getting a guy that's getting older. He's probably had his most productive season since he's been here. We've won the title. Let's cash in on him while we can. You know, that's what that is what, you know, a serious person that has vision would have seen. Because now everyone's going to be saying, you know, Salah's declined or he's got worse because of that. But again, this is where if you got forward-thinking people in charge, they would have cashed in on him. Imagine they cashed in on Salah and then they went and got an Mbeumo. Because Mbeumo is the closest thing in this league, him and Kudus, for me, to a Mo Salah. I don't believe they get more goals than what Salah got, but they'll offer a different threat with that left foot on that side. So they should have had the vision to get rid of Salah, save his wages, and then go and spend on someone that could be the future replacement for him. But they gave him that money, and now we're seeing him on the bench. And let's face it, yeah, Chiesa's actually a winger, and Chiesa should be getting more game time than Salah for me, you know. But again, he's got the money, man, and that's what people are looking at the moment. Guys, before I forget, obviously you guys can see this vest I got on now. So it's called Andy's Man Club. So again, I've got a fight coming up, guys, a boxing fight coming up on the 6th of December, and it's for charity as well. So 6th of December, boxing fight. And obviously I'm doing it in aid of Andy's Man's Club, which is about men's mental health, you know. So if there's any of you that suffer from mental health, then yeah, it's a good cause to follow. So I've got my Just Giving page. So if you guys want to, I think what I'll do, I'll put my Just Giving page on after this stream has ended on my description. So yeah, if you guys want to, I would appreciate if you guys could donate if you're someone that does think this cause is good, or that has someone that, or that knows someone that has suffered from mental health, you know, because men's mental health is a real thing, you know, and as I said, it's for a good cause. So no matter how small or how big the donation is, I'll be putting it in my description after the stream's ended. So yeah, if you guys want to go over there and donate to my Just Giving page. As I said, I've got a boxing fight coming up on the 6th of December. So yeah, would appreciate if you guys um, would contribute. So it goes a long way, man. So big up yourselves. So young fighter says Vinicius is the best fighter, is the best player in the world. Um, I think Vinicius has definitely dropped off, and again, I mentioned that with Mbappe in the team now, Vinicius has kind of gone into his shell because you've got two players there in their own right that are superstars, yeah? And Vinicius Jr. was the superstar before Mbappe came there. Because if you think of Benzema going, it was Vinicius Jr. that was, you know, the key player in terms of taking Real Madrid into the Champions League. I think it's clear that since Mbappe's came, Vinicius is now second fiddle now to Mbappe. So I do believe when they play the better teams in Champions League, Real Madrid, having both Vinicius and Mbappe in there, I don't think it works because you're gonna have two players that are gonna be behind the ball if you're playing against a PSG or a Barca that will be dominating, and it might be the undoing of Real Madrid. So yeah, I definitely do think, man, it's one to look at. But yeah, listen, people would have thought Vinicius would have won the Ballon d'Or when Rodri won it, but I think right now, to say he's the best in the world, for me, he's not. But can he get back there? I just don't know if it happens with Mbappe in the team. I think something's got to give. Big up to Barbara Joseph again with the super sticker. Big up. Big up to Broderick as well. Right, let's move on, guys. So what was the other Champions League? Oh, Newcastle versus Benfica. Obviously, Newcastle running out 3-0 winners at home. I think, again, Newcastle for me, again, they're a team I didn't actually mention. I forgot Newcastle were actually in the Champions League. But yeah, listen, I think Newcastle could be dark horses. I don't think they won't win the Champions League for me, but they could be dark horses in terms of getting to the latter stages of the Champions League. But I think their team, is more of a team for me that will be focusing on the Champions League. I think definitely. I mean the Premier League. Sorry, I definitely think Premier League is what they're going to be looking at. But I think in terms of the players they've got, the midfield three we know already are quite physical. They're very good on the ball as well. The likes of Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes is a fighter, he's the captain, and Joel Linton's a physical presence as well. So I think their midfield three is very good. I think going forwards, I mean, Walter Marda has been a very good signing for them so far. But again, if anyone watched Walter Marda in the under-21 European Championships, you would have seen what the guy had to offer. He was very good in that tournament. I think he won top goal scorer as well. And him coming to Newcastle to replace Isak has been it's been a very good signing, man. Again, he's someone that is a very good footballer, Walter Marda. He's someone that won't get judged, I don't believe, solely on goals because he's not a number 9 that's going to get you 30, 40 goals. But he will get his fair share. But not to mention, he's going to be a link man. He's going to bring in other players into the game, the likes of Anthony Gordon, Harvey Barnes, Elanga. He'll bring them into the game. And again, let's not forget, they've got Johan Visser as well, who's out injured. And I think when Visser's fit, he's going to be a problem because if you got him and Walter Marda as their two options, you probably look at it right now and say they've got the better end of the deal by getting Walter Marda and Visser in comparison to Isak's form. But and as Mike said, man, Walter Marda was a huge upgrade on Isak. I think if we're looking at in terms of the overall team, possibly. But there ain't no denying that Isak was a massive player for Newcastle, and I think the fact that Isak is in poor form, I do think it's easy for people to say that Isak is an upgrade on Isak, but I'm looking at Walter Marder's game, and yeah, his game's very good, man. He's got very good link play. You know, he is scoring goals as well for them, and he's gonna provide. He's got very good intelligence. That's what I like about him as well, and he's gonna provide a lot to that Newcastle team. He is, but I think it's premature at the moment to say that he's an upgrade on Isak. Isak has been poor, but let's not forget that at Newcastle, Isak was scoring goals for them, and he was a massive player for them. So yeah, uh, but yeah, listen, 3-0, man. 2 goals for Harvey Barnes, a goal from Gordon. Um, Again, I'm not a massive fan of Anthony Gordon. I'm not. I think Anthony Gordon is a good player, but I think I don't like. I think I'm hearing people say that he's one of the best players in the league. Like he's not that. You know what I mean? He's a very good player though. He's a very good Premier League player. But in terms of him being one of the best in the league, no way, no way. But yeah, for Newcastle, man, he's a problem for Newcastle. He's a problem for Newcastle, definitely. But yeah, he got a goal, tap in, and then 2 goals from Harvey Barnes, man. So yeah, I mean, their last league game was against home game, Champions League was against Barcelona, where they got beat. So yeah, to turn that into a win next game at home, yeah, it's good. Against Jose Mourinho as well, came back to England. So how long is Mourinho going to last? That's the funny thing, because the other manager, I forgot his name, he got sacked, and I think Mourinho's not really doing that well either. So yeah, crazy. Gordon's just a pace merchant. Yeah. I think the thing with Anthony Gordon, yeah, he for me is a typical English player in terms of heart, passion, runs all day. That's how I see him. He's a goal threat. To be fair, he is a goal threat, but the makeup of him is the passion, it's the running. You know what I mean? And again, players like that, I don't really have an affinity to. I think there is a place for players like that, but I'd much rather see my players more on the technical side of it. But I do think Gordon's a good player, but when I'm hearing that he's one of the best players in the league, yeah, he's not that, man. He's not that. 100% not that. 100%. And then what was the other game? Yeah, Tottenham drawing 0-0 with Monaco. Great performance from Vicario. Vicario keeping them in that game. I think Monaco dominated that game, to be fair. But I think you have to look at Tottenham unbeaten in the Champions League so far this season, and them coming away from there with a point. It's not the worst. Isn't the worst result in the world, but I think judging by their last couple of performances, I think their fans will be, well, they'll be pissed off. Let's be honest. But yeah, man, I think I think the fact that they come away from them with a 0-0 result, yeah, I think they just keep it moving for the next Champions League game, which I'm not sure who it's against, but yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it is what it is, man. But yeah, English teams dominating in the Champions League at the moment. 19-2 over the last 2 days, which is crazy. But yeah, let me know, guys, if you think that there's any English teams that will be winning this Champions League. Because if I'm being honest, I can't see it. I definitely can't see it. But, who knows, man? Who knows? I think with the money that's in the Premier League now, with the with the managers that are in this league as well, you wouldn't bet against it. But I'm definitely going to say Barca, PSG, and possibly Bayern Munich right now, they're going to be the teams to beat for me in this tournament. I don't think Real Madrid... I mean, you can never bet against Real Madrid because Real Madrid they're Real Madrid. But I don't know if Real Madrid... I'm not sure if they have what it takes to win the Champions League this time around, this season. I don't think so. So let's check the votes. So, guys, we got 34 votes. So who will get further in the Champions League? So you got Man City, 28%. Is it 20%? Sorry, Man City 26%, Liverpool 24%, Chelsea 12%, and the majority think Arsenal will get the furthest. I mean, that's interesting. Arsenal, the team that hasn't won Champions League before. All the other three teams have, but yet Arsenal are going to get the furthest. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, PSG Bayern next game. That's gonna be the game of the round for me. I'll possibly be doing a watch along for that as well. PSG Bayern, because I think they're going to be two of the favourites for me. I don't think Bayern win it personally. You know, they're going to have a good chance, but I just don't know. I just don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But guys, give me some more of your questions and comments before we wrap up. And make sure, guys, you're smashing the like button. There's 41 of you in there. It's only 13 likes. So smash the like button if you're enjoying the content. And make sure you check out all the other content as well. And check out the playlists. And again, if you're new in here, make sure you sub to the channel. And guys, make sure you share the channel as well. Make sure you share the channel. Big up yourselves. Again, obviously, make sure you guys give Andy's Man Club a follow if you're checking with mental health, men's mental health. And again, I'll put my Just Giving page on my description once the stream has ended. And if you guys would like to donate to my Just Giving page for my boxing fight coming up in December for charity, would be great, man. Guys, get them votes in. Come on, get the votes in. We got 30. No, we got. Let me check. So we got 35 votes. Yeah, 35 votes. And at the moment, the majority of you are saying Arsenal to get the furthest in the Champions League, which I must say I'm surprised. Gav, do you think Jose is washed as a manager? Yeah, listen, man. Mourinho's been washed for time. Like, I don't think there's no one that can deny that. I think when he got sacked from Tottenham, and then from there, where did he go? Did he go Turkey from there? Was it Turkey he went from there? I can't remember. Was it Galatasaray or Fenerbahce he went? No, Fenerbahce I think he was at. But yeah, listen, Mourinho's obviously been one of the great managers of the past 20 years. But there's no doubt in that Mourinho's at the end now. You know, and Mourinho's still relevant because of his name, you know, and of his charisma as well. But yeah, there's no doubt in that Mourinho's done, man. His management career is done. Jose Mourinho, for me, should go into international football. You know, go and manage Portugal. That's what he should go and do. You know, I think international football for me is where Mourinho is going to thrive because, you know, you're not playing too often. And if there's one manager that can set up a team to be stubborn to beat, it's Jose Mourinho. So, yeah, for me, Mourinho needs to go and manage international football. Yeah, either that or retire. I agree. If you had to predict the final, what teams you think for this year? Yeah, bro. Big up, man. As I said, I'm not looking past PSG and Barca. That for me should have been the final last season. You know, Barca messed it up against Inter Milan. They should have beaten Inter Milan. I watched both games over 2 legs, and the fact that Barca were playing with that high line against Denzel Dumfries and the pace of Marcus Thuram, like it didn't make any sense, and they missed chances as well. So that should have been the final last season, PSG Barca, and I do think that it will be it will be that Paphos versus Kaira Almaty. Nah, listen, none of that, man, none of that. So yeah, listen, I do think it's gonna be. Yeah, I think any 3 of them teams, PSG, Bayern, or Barca, I think one of them teams make the final. I'll be very surprised if it's not them. Yeah, it would be. It'll be the best final because if you're a lover of football, if you're a lover of seeing, you know, football played the right way in a sense, then you'd want to see Barca versus PSG. You know, Yamal versus Doué. You know, because I think when we're looking at rivalries, do I think Doué? I think Doué is a very good player. I mean, could he have a rivalry with Yamal? Possibly. You know, he's. I think Doué's what a cup. Is he a year older than Yamal? I think he might be. But if we're looking at left foot, right foot, two players that play in similar positions, I think Yamal and Doué could be the next rivalry that we've had with Messi and Ronaldo. You know, Haaland and Mbappe. You know, I'm purely doing it on the left foot, right foot, and similar positions. So Messi and Ronaldo are both forwards, left and right foot. Even though Mbappe, I still see Mbappe as a left winger, but he's playing through the middle at Real Madrid. Him and Haaland, left foot, right foot. And then you got Yamal and Doué, left foot, right foot, playing out wide. So, yeah, listen, man, I think Yamal and Doué in the final, Barca PSG. Then you've got Dembele against his former club as well. Pedri versus Vitinha, two of the best midfielders in the world right now for me. Yeah, man, there's battles all over the pitch. You know what I mean? Battles all over the pitch. So yeah, for neutrals, that would be the final, man. No doubt, no doubt. But yeah, Barca Bayern would be good. You know, but I wouldn't mind seeing Barca Bayern semi-final. But for me, yeah, the final Barca PSG would be a great final, or even an El Clasico final of in the Champions League. I mean, that would be good, an El Clasico final, but I just don't know Real Madrid. I mean, you can never count against Real Madrid, but I just don't think they're going to do anything when it matters in this tournament, because I just don't think playing Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, and Bellingham all together against the best teams. I think they'll get found out. You know, I think they'll get found out. Gav, who takes Golden Boot between Kane, Haaland, and Mbappe? Great question. You know what I'm gonna say, yeah, because I think you can't really count against Harry Kane, because Harry Kane's out of all three of them, Harry Kane's the best footballer. You know, he's the best footballer by a mile for me out of all three of them. But I just think the way Haaland's going, yeah, and the fact that City do create chances, and the fact that Erling Haaland the physicality and the pace might be the defining factor. I think Haaland wins the Golden Boot, but Harry Kane's going to run him very close. You know, I think Mbappe's not a natural striker. You know, Mbappe's a wide player for me, but Mbappe will score goals because of his pace and because of his you know, the fact that he does get into good positions, and to be honest with you, his mentality is ridiculous, Mbappe. So Mbappe will score goals, but I can't look past Erling Haaland. I think this season Haaland's looked like a monster, you know, and he's just going to go from strength to strength. But Harry Kane's going to run him very close. But if I have to say one player who will get the most goals, I'd have to say Haaland, because I think Haaland's someone. And let's not forget as well, all three of them are penalty takers. You know, Harry Kane will get goals from purely from his ability and the fact that he's intelligent. But I think Erling Haaland, a lot of his goals are going to come from his physicality with his pace and strength. So that might be the changing factor for me. Who knows? But yeah, if I have to say one, I'll probably say Erling Haaland for me. So Winston says Bellingham is truly world class. I disagree. I disagree massively. You know, anyone that thinks Jude Bellingham's world class, I mean, it shows you that football is in a very dark place, because he ain't world class. I can tell you that for free. You know, he's not world class. I think with Jude Bellingham, he's a good player, but that's it. That is it. A good player. You know, he's got physicality in the league that hasn't got physicality. But when we're saying world class, it means really that the tag of world class is it's not really serious anymore. So that's what I would say, man. Yeah, there's no way Drew Bellingham's world class. He's not. He's not. So Haaland's only got one penalty this season. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Yeah, listen, Mike. The thing is, yeah, with Mbappe as well, and I said this, yeah, at the when did I say this? I think I said this when the Ballon d'Or was announced. Yeah, Mbappe is going to be on a mission this season because I think everyone in this chat now, which is 33 of you, yeah, I don't think there's no one that would have said that Ousmane Dembele would have won a Ballon d'Or before Mbappe, but that's happened. So I think personally, with the World Cup coming up, you know, Mbappe is going to be on a mission to get Real Madrid over the line in both the Champions League and the league table and the Liga as well as having a strong World Cup. Because as we know, if any three of them are achieved, yeah, then that takes you a long way to winning the Ballon d'Or. And I think the fact that he's seen Ousmane Dembele win a Ballon d'Or before him, I think Mbappe is going to be on a mission to win a Ballon d'Or and have his name in there. Because as I said, there's no one in this chat I don't believe would have seen that happening with Dembele winning a Ballon d'Or before Mbappe. So I think Mbappe definitely is going to be up for this, and I think he's going to be doing his utmost to try and win either Champions League or a World Cup. I mean, if he does both and has the numbers, I mean, that's him getting the Ballon d'Or because that's how it works. You know, he's got the popularity, he's got the PR. You know, if he wins a World Cup and wins the Champions League, you know, and in theory, you're going to say he's going to get the numbers, that's him winning the Ballon d'Or. So that could be what he's targeting. Now, Bellingham's not world class. I don't care how many times you want to say it, MNL edits or Winston. I don't care how many times you want to say it. Yeah, it's your opinion, but Bellingham's not world class. I don't know. I don't know why you think he's world class, but at least tell us why you think he's world class. Because we already asked you earlier. Well, someone asked you earlier in the chat to explain why you think. I think it was on Mo Salah or whoever it was, and you didn't answer. So again, if you think Bellingham's world class, that's all well and good. But tell us why you think he's world class, because this is part of the problem. People just say stuff, and then when you get questioned, there's no answer. So tell us why you think he's world class. And as Fitz has said, social media, the pundits social media, the pundits tell you that Bellingham's world class. And again, if you don't watch the game or you don't have a mind of your own, you know, you're gonna believe that Bellingham's world class. And I'll tell you this now, I've watched football too many times to know that he's not world class. So again, there's no one that's going to tell me he's world class. If you want the likes of them pundits to tell you that in the media, then that's up to you, man. But you're not getting that on this channel. That's a fact. So yeah, Bellingham's not world class, but at least tell us why you think he's world class. So how did Bellingham dominate for Madrid when they won the Champions League if he's so bad? Okay, let's get into it. Yeah. So again, football is a team game. It's not individual. So when you're saying Bellingham dominated for Madrid, again, that's not true. Bellingham played as a false nine when they had no striker. Because if you look at the way that Ancelotti set Real Madrid up, when they had the wide forwards in Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo, Bellingham was playing as more of the cheating midfielder. Because you had Valverde and you had Tchouaméni or Camavinga or Modric behind that, which meant that Bellingham was playing as a false nine come midfielder. But he was having the license to just get into the box and get numbers. As you can see now, and this was not really hard to understand, with Mbappe coming in and taking that striking position, is there any surprise why Bellingham's numbers have gone down? To the average football fan, they'll be thinking, oh, why has Bellingham's numbers gone down? But to people that actually know football, you could tell that his numbers were obvious that they were going to go down, because you've now got a striker that's taking up the positions that Bellingham was getting into. So again, to say that Bellingham dominated for Madrid, tell me how you think he dominated, because it wasn't by performances. That's a fact. But you're probably saying that because of numbers. And as you can see now, it's the system that I mentioned earlier. When you've got a system that is designed to get an output from a player, there's no surprise why why a player is getting numbers. Bellingham's not playing as the false nine no more. And is there a surprise why he's not getting numbers? And that was shown last season as well. So, again, when you're saying he dominated, that's not true. He was part of a team that won the Champions League. That's all it is. So that's not true, is it? Come on. But again, this conversation is, as I said, man, it's not for everyone because it's either you want to understand or you don't. You know, if you're someone that thinks he's world class, unfortunately, you're not really going to hear anything else because it's either you want to understand it or you don't. And I think too many people with Bellingham, it's the media telling them that, or it's the pundits. Don't sell yourself short, guys. What I would say, because these people that are in the studio, a lot of them are scripted, by the way. So don't be fooled to thinking that these guys actually know what's going on, and don't be fooled for them to tell you that someone's world class when they're not. I couldn't care that Bellingham's at Real Madrid. He's at Real Madrid because of PR, not because he's an actual great footballer, because he's not. So if the pundits want to tell you, or if the media want to tell you that Bellingham's world class, it usually means they're being scripted or they're just trying to push a narrative. And as I said, Jude Bellingham's got mad PR, but there's no one that's going to tell me that he's world class because he's not. I've seen too many players. I know too much football to know that he's not world class. So it is what it is. So Jude Bellingham is seen as world class because he's got the full package. Incredible physical and mental strength, top tier skills, and the consistency to perform at a high level, even at so young. So again, all you've told us really is that it's a mental thing for him. It's a mental thing. That's what you're saying. And again, you know why this is nonsense, yeah? I'll tell you why it's nonsense. I spoke about this when he come out with the mental health things he's going through. You know, there was a comment where he said, what was it again? So when he got left out of the England World Cup squad, when he got left out of England's squad for the World Cup qualifiers, there was an interview that was done where he said, I can't remember what it was. Like, it was a fake persona kind of mentality that he had to display. And I could see that from just how he plays, yeah? You know, I mentioned this before I had a channel. When England played Serbia in the was it the World Cup or the Euros, you know, there's antics that Bellingham does, yeah, which gets his PR up, which gets fans on side. You know, he punches the ground, kicks the post when he misses a chance. People might look at that and think, oh, he cares or he's passionate. But all that is PR to show to people that Bellingham, you know, he's a passion merchant. He loves the game. But it's all PR to feed into the average football fan, you know, to buy into Bellingham. Again, these things, like, people are not aware of. But I was, and I spoke about this time ago. So again, when you're saying he's got incredible physical and mental strength, again, I'm going to bring it back to it, yeah? He's playing in the league, in La Liga, where their physicality is not what's looked at. You know, they're a technical league. It's not about physicality. If he was playing in England, you wouldn't be looking at Bellingham's physicality because, again, England is a physical league. So when you're saying that, you know, it's not true, for one. The mental strength, if he's got mad mental strength, this interview that he done the other day, you know, you don't really need to be talking about that, really. You know, but we know that was PR because he got left out of the England squad. And again, when you're saying top tier skills, all you're doing is just putting in words. What are these top tier skills? Again, like, we can have this conversation, but, you know, unfortunately, it's just talking for talking sense, what you're doing, Winston, because you're not really saying too much. Like, I'll be honest. So look, good passer, good goal scorer. So he's not a great passer. That's a fact. And again, who are we comparing him to being a good passer? Yeah. And good goal scorer. Well, I've already shown to you that it's the system what got him goals. Because quite clearly, the system now is not him playing as the false nine or the most advanced midfielder. and he's not getting the numbers that he was getting. So again, man, it's not true. He's a great dribbler. He's a great dribbler. Yeah. Tell me you haven't watched football. Because if you think Jude Bellingham's a great dribbler, I'm guessing you must be about, what, 16, 17? Because if you're in your mid-30s, or if you're in your mid-20s, or if you're in the late 20s, you wouldn't be saying that Bellingham's a great dribbler. Because it shows me you haven't seen any dribblers. So I'm not even going to entertain that, man. So what's my definition of world class? Again, world class gets thrown around too easily. Yeah. I think what's easier, yeah, is for me to tell you what players are world class. So if we look in England, yeah, let's go to Liverpool. Who do I think is world class? Let's put the goalkeepers to the side. Outfield players. Virgil van Dijk's world class. Why is Van Dijk world class? Because Van Dijk isn't the Van Dijk of old, yeah, but Van Dijk in terms of his ability on the ball, you know, he's very good technically off both feet. You know, his reading of the game is very good. The physicality, he's dominant in the air. And obviously what he's won for Liverpool in terms of a league title, Champions League, those are the bonuses. But I'm looking at Van Dijk as an actual defender, yeah. Again, he has dropped off since the injury, but what he possesses on the ball and defensively, his reading of the game, means he's world class, yeah. I look through Liverpool's team, he's the one true world class player. They've got players that are potentially world class, the likes of Gravenberch. Mo Salah for me is not world class. He has world class numbers, but world class numbers don't mean that you're a world class player. It doesn't mean that. Florian Wirtz for me potentially. Hugo Ekitike potentially. But that's it from Liverpool for me. The rest of them are just good players. Then we go on to Arsenal. You've got Gabriel and Saliba for me. You can say they're on the borderline of world-class defenders or potential. Bukayo Saka is not world-class for me. I think Bukayo Saka he can be seen as borderline, but I think he's a very good player, but I wouldn't say he's world-class. And then everyone else in that team isn't. You know, Eze's a very good player. He's not world-class for me. You know, he needs to do a lot more. But I'll say their centre-backs, Saliba and Gabriel, are the only probably borderline world-class players. Everyone else ain't world-class in Arsenal's team. So again, we're looking at Liverpool having Virgil van Dijk as the only world-class player, outfield player that I would say has an argument. So that's Liverpool and Liverpool and Arsenal. Then we go on to Chelsea. The only world-class players in Chelsea's team for me is if Reece James stays fit, which he has done, he's the best right back in the game for me, Reece James. So I'm going to say Reece James is world-class, but a lot of it depends on fitness for him, which he has proved. Then we go Moises Caicedo's world-class. Cole Palmer, for me, is borderline. So you got three players in Reece James, Caicedo, and Cole Palmer that are world-class. The rest of them are good players for me. Then we go on to Man City. Rodri, again, is in the Reece James thing because he's been injured lately, but he's world-class. Erling Haaland, for me, is... Because as an all-round player, for me, I don't think Haaland is world-class. He hasn't got a world-class all-round game. But his goal scoring is world class. So you could say he's in the Mo Salah conversation. But I would say Haaland is probably borderline. Borderline, and then can be considered world class because of his numbers, you know. But I'd say borderline. But Rodri for me would probably be the only outstanding one when he's fit that can be considered as world class for me. So again, and then everyone else in the league, you can't say they're world class. So the only world-class players in the Premier League that are certainties for me is probably Virgil van Dijk, and then borderline you've got the likes of Gabriel Saliba, um, Erling Haaland, probably Cole Palmer. So yeah, they're the only ones. Oh, sorry, Virgil van Dijk, Moises Caicedo. They're the only certainties, and then Reece James for me. And then you go into Germany. The only world-class player in Germany for me is Harry Kane. And then you probably got Michael Olise, who's potential. Then you might want to throw Musiala in there as well. But Harry Kane, he's certified world-class. You know. Then you've got in Spain, Lamine Yamal, Pedri, Frankie de Jong. You know, Vinicius Jr. you might want to throw in there. Mbappe you might want to throw in there. Camavinga's world-class for me if he stays fit. So again, this world-class tag, Rudiger could be on there as well. Ronald Araujo if he stays fit. Kabasi's probably potential like Balde. You know? So again, world-class is a tag that gets thrown around. But there ain't too many world-class players in football no more. Whereas before, you could just throw around the world-class tag all day long. But football now, there isn't, man. So Rodrigo, yeah, Rodrigo's world-class for me actually as well. Forgot about him. I think Arda Güler is potential. But I think certainty world-class players for Real Madrid are Camavinga, Rodrigo, and then you can throw in Mbappe or Vinicius Jr. if you wanted to. But there's no way Jude Bellingham's world-class. He's not. Like, he's just not world-class. Whether people like it or not, he's not world-class. He's not. He's just a good player. Just leave it at that. So Winston's saying he's better than Zidane. Yeah, all right. That's what I'm saying. Winston's not being serious. He's on banter now because he knows he's lost the argument. But it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. So he's not like Ronaldinho. I swear you just watch highlights. I meant he's a good dribbler of this era, mate. Get your facts and stop comparing to older players you mean in this era. Again, MNL edits. It shows me that you ain't got a clue what's going on. Because if you think Bellingham is a good dribbler, yeah, it's not about comparing him to different eras. If you actually think Bellingham's a good dribbler, like, as I said, you must be 16 and haven't seen football. Because you don't make them stupid comments to say he's a good dribbler. He's not a good dribbler. I don't know what players you think are good dribblers, but I tell this for free. Jude Bellingham is not a good dribbler. So again, I don't know how old you are, but it's telling me that you must be 16 because you don't make them stupid comments to say that he's a good dribbler. Like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's not about what era he's from. He ain't a good dribbler. You know, if you want to say he's a powerful runner with the ball, being a powerful runner with the ball is different from being a good dribbler. Then I would accept he's a powerful runner with the ball. But when you're coming on here saying dribbler, you ain't seen football, man. I'm telling you. Like, so it's a comment that I'm not taking seriously. Let's move on, man, because yeah, that's just poor, man. Yeah, Saka's not world class. Reece James and Caicedo. Sorry, Ryan Cherky. Sorry, potentially. I wouldn't say Cherky's world class now, but he's another one in the potential bracket. I forgot about Cherky. Yeah, he's another one. Yeah, listen, Eminel is not. He's not well, man. Eminel's not well, man. That rhymed as well. Yeah, listen. Yeah, he's like he doesn't know, he's not sure what's going on, man. Because when you're saying Jude Bellingham's a good dribbler, I think he doesn't understand the difference between dribbling and a powerful runner with the ball. But again, we're here to educate, man. And if you want to be educated, then all you got to do is ask. Because to say that is mad. Is Kimmich world class? Oh, sorry, I forgot PSG. My bad. Vitinha's world class. Nuno Mendes is world class. Hakimi's world class. Ousmane Dembele. Yeah, I'll say Dembele's world class. Kvaratskhelia, I would say, is world class as well. So, and then you got potential like Doué. I think Fabian Ruiz is a very good player. He's probably someone that can be considered borderline or good player. Yeah, so I forgot about PSG. Um, but is Kimmich world class? Not for me. I think Kimmich could be like Fabian Ruiz, borderline or just a good player. But the one world class player they have is Harry Kane. Like that's undoubted. That's undoubted. So MNL edits. You know what? I'm just reading your comment. Yeah, you're saying that you've played for Chelsea development with my mate. Yeah, like when I'm talking on football. Yeah, I'm talking from someone that's played. Yeah, you're talking about Chelsea development. Yeah, I was at Chelsea for 7 years in the academy, as well as Tottenham for 3 years. So again, I've watched football my whole life. I've played and I've coached. So when I'm saying certain things, yeah, I'm not plucking them out of the sky. So when you're telling me that Bellingham's a good dribbler, yeah, it lets me know that you're not really understanding what a good dribbler is. Like, and I'm not being disrespectful, yeah. It's letting me know that you don't really know what a dribbler is, because if you're telling me he's a good dribbler, it usually means you haven't seen good dribblers. That's what it means. He's a powerful runner with the ball. That is what he is. He's not a dribbler. He never has been a dribbler, because when you're saying dribbler, do you know how disrespectful it is to actual dribblers to say that he's a good dribbler? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, but there you go, Mike. Big up. There you go. Arda Güler's a better dribbler than Bellingham. You know what I mean? Rodrigo's a better dribbler than Bellingham. Like, who are we comparing Bellingham to? Like, that's what I want to know. If you're comparing Bellingham's dribbling to I don't know, who plays. I'm trying to think of someone in the Premier League. If you're comparing his dribbling to someone like Garnacho, then you might have a point. But who you comparing him to? That's what I want to know. Because it's disrespectful to dribblers to say that he's a dribbler. He's not even a dribbler anyway. Gav, how good do you think Esteval is? Again, guys, big up yourselves for the comments, because I'm forgetting players, yeah? So yeah, Esteval is potential as well. I wouldn't say Upamecano's world class. I think Upamecano, has moments in him of clumsiness, but he's probably in the good to borderline, but I wouldn't say he's world class. Elise, for me, is either borderline or is world class. But how good do I think Esteval is? I think potentially he's very good. Yeah, very good. Again, Esteval's his next thing is to try and get regular game time, because as we know, when Cole Palmer's fit, Cole Palmer plays. So that means in the attacking sense, there's only two positions available. And as we know, he plays inverted, Esteval. So he's probably got to try and nail that right-hand side down. But potentially he's world class, yeah. Again, when you're how old is he? What, 18, Esteval? And the level he's showing that he can be a big player in the future, no doubt. No doubt, man. No doubt. So potentially, yeah. And there we go. Yamal, Vinny, and even Mbappe, yeah. I wouldn't even say Mbappe is a dribbler like that. When I'm saying dribblers, yeah, like players like Arjen Robben was a dribbler. Players like Eden Hazard was a dribbler. Anthony Martial was a dribbler. Trying to think of other players. Like the Ronaldinhos of this world, dribblers. Frank Ribery, dribbler. Like, when you're saying Bellingham's a dribbler, like, it shows me really you're not understanding the difference between a dribbler and a powerful runner, as I've said. But Mbappe's not a dribbler like that. I think Mbappe's one is more pace. Like, Yamal's a dribbler because he's intricate with it. Vinicius Jr. is a bit of a hybrid. But Yamal's a pure dribbler. Messi's a pure dribbler. Neymar's a pure dribbler. Like, these are guys that are dribblers, not Jude Bellingham. To even mention Jude Bellingham's name with these guys here, it's just embarrassing and it's disrespectful. So let's move on, man, because I'm not entertaining that from us. Kvaratskhelia is a dribbler. There we go. You know, Kvaratskhelia is a dribbler. Is a dribbler. De Ligt is world class for me right now. But the reason I say Van Dijk here is because in terms of the only defender that's world class, in my opinion, is because even though Van Dijk, you know, his form has been a bit up and down, but Van Dijk has shown over the years that if you're looking at a World 11 team, he gets into it because he just has too much qualities in his game. I know people talk about the aura defending, etc., but he's just got too much quality in his game. So, yeah, I'm going to say Van Dijk's the outstanding one. But there's no doubt in my mind right now that Matthijs de Ligt is the best defender in the league right now. Right now, he's the best defender in the league. No doubt. No doubt. But yeah, Van Dijk for me is the one world-class player you can say from outfield. Gav, opinion on Mbappe not scoring against Juventus and Di Gennaro masterclass against Real Madrid. To be fair, I didn't see the game, but I see the save that the highlights that I didn't see this. I see the save that he made from what's his face from Mbappe. Yeah. Right, guys, we're gonna wrap up in a little bit in about 5 minutes. So I got to shoot off. Yeah, listen, Messi and Neymar. Like when you know what makes me laugh, yeah? When you talk about dribblers and you mention Messi and Neymar, and then you're saying Bellingham is a dribbler, and then you're trying to say of this era, it's like, yeah, what are you talking about, man? Like, just tell me you haven't watched football properly. Nah, listen, it's not about making mistakes, man. Don't backtrack now, MNL Edits, yeah? You said he's a good dribbler for this era. And I'm telling you now, he's not a dribbler. He's a powerful runner with the ball. Because I don't think you understand what a dribbler is. Who remembers a player called David Ginola? That's what you call a dribbler. He's a dribbler. David Ginola. Yeah? There's dribblers and there's powerful runners with the ball. So let's understand what the difference is. So now you're saying he's a powerful dribbler. Yeah, all right. Let's move on, man. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Yeah, let's move on, man, because you know, sometimes I think it's you're hitting your head against a brick wall with some people, you know. Unfortunately, this is what happened. So Guna Instigator says, highly disagree. I think Gabriel is the best in the league. Well, I'm not surprised you're saying that because you got Guna in your name. But yeah, listen, Gabriel for me is definitely up there as one of the best defenders in this league. I'm not going to disagree. But if we're looking at over the last few seasons or whatever, he's not better than Van Dijk. He's not. But he's definitely up there with, like, in terms of the best defenders in this league right now on current form, like, Matthijs de Ligt for me is number one. And I'm not being biased because I'm a Man United fan. I don't think Matthijs de Ligt is getting the credit he deserves. You know, I think if you're looking at all the stats as well, which again I don't care about stats, but I believe, you know, the stats back up what I'm seeing. And again, Gabriel's been very good, but I'm not picking Gabriel over de Ligt for me. But in terms of the one world class defender in this league, you can't look past Van Dijk. I think for de Ligt and Gabriel to be up there with Van Dijk, they've got to do it over the next couple of seasons for me consistently and take their teams to winning the major trophies. That's what it's about. Now, Kvaratskhelia is not a good dribbler. Kvaratskhelia is a top dribbler. So again, when you're telling me that, you know what makes this funny, yeah? when you're saying that Jude Bellingham is a good dribbler in this era, and now you're saying Kvaratskhelia is a good dribbler. So basically what you're trying to say is that Kvaratskhelia and Bellingham are the same level of dribblers. Again, that just shows me that you're not really understanding what the difference of a dribbler and a powerful runner is. So we're going to move past that and just ignore that. But guys, listen up. Big up yourselves for coming on each and every time. Listen, great stream, great conversations. And as I said, it's about opinions, but, I like to make people understand the differences in what people are talking about, because there's some people that just come on and just say things for the sake of it, but don't really understand or give you any kind of examples of what they mean. Yeah, so it's just madness. But listen, big up to everyone coming on. Big up to all the mods each and every time. And guys, if you've enjoyed the stream today, make sure you smash the like button. We got 15 likes on it. So if you haven't smashed the like button, make sure you smash the like button on your way out. And make sure you sub to the channel as well. And guys, make sure you share the channel, most importantly. If you're on any other channels, make sure you share this this channel, GavGoesIn. It would be much appreciated, as always. And yeah, make sure you check out all my other content as well. I got some good playlists on there, even playlists of me scoring some goals at five-a-side from my team I play for. So yeah, big up to Nick as well. But yeah, big up yourselves, guys, each and every time, man, for coming through and contributing to the channel. It's much appreciated. And as I said, I'll be putting in the link to my Just Giving page if you guys want to donate to my Just Giving page for my boxing fight on the 6th of December for charity. So yeah, yeah, big up Iftikhar, man. No Defense FC, that's our team, man. We're literally the best team in our area. So again, if those of you that don't know, our rival team in our league is Rio Ngamoha, who plays for Liverpool. Obviously, him and his brother's team, they're called part-time pros. So they're our rival team in our league. And obviously, they're quite newer to the league from what we've been doing. But yeah, it's always us two going for the title. So yeah, Rio Ngamoha of Liverpool. Yeah, him and his brother's team. They're our rival team in our league for five-a-side. So yeah, listen, man, we've been doing some good things. And our team has changed over the years a bit now. So we got some we got some newer players in there. So as I said, yeah, it's one of them things. But yeah, listen, guys, make sure you if you do want to donate to my Just Giving page, I'll put that in the description straight after. As I said, any sort of donation would be much appreciated. And as I said, I'm gonna try and get some content of me training. Whether it's boxing training, whether it's pads, sparring, etc. I will try and get some content out to you guys. It's going to be members only. So, yeah, that'll be coming up in over the next couple of weeks as well. So, I'll try and get something together. But, yeah, big up yourselves each and every time, guys. And tomorrow's Friday. I'll catch you guys tomorrow because I'm going to be doing Man United's match preview against Brighton, 5:30 kickoff on Saturday. So, yeah, I should be live tomorrow, same kind of time. 12:30. But if anything does come up, then obviously I'll have to reschedule. But yeah, keep an eye on the notifications as well. But yeah, hopefully be back tomorrow at 12:30. And yeah, hopefully catch you guys tomorrow. Yeah, big up to Iftikhar, man. Hope you win the boxing match. Yeah, listen, it's my my third one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. And as I said, man, it's good work I'm putting into it, and I'm enjoying it, man. You know what I mean? I do enjoy boxing. I enjoy the fitness side of it as well, man. It's if anyone hasn't done boxing before, you won't understand the fitness that is required, man. It is good, So as I said, man, I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to the fight on the 6th of December. So yeah, it is what it is, man. But as I said, guys, big up yourselves each and every time, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.